What's up? I hope you're doing good today. All that shit. It's a nice Sunday morning. Just out here in the backyard. Oh, got the little stream going right there. Got the little wind chime on the swinging bench thing. Yep. And I'm just about to show you something on the guitar that will help you increase your skill on the classical guitar if you practice consistently. And that's Segovia scales. That's like a certain scale pattern that goes all up and down the neck, invented by the Spanish guitarist Andres Segovia. And the thing about these scales is that they're just good for overall increasing your skill in both left and right hand, because if you just practice this a lot, you get a lot of practice with the right hand fingering. You can do free strokes or rest strokes. So basically, free stroke is when you pluck the string without touching the string before it. Free stroke is more like plucking upwards. Rest stroke is like plucking side to side, and you touch the next string like that. And if your ring finger is a little less coordinated or weaker, and you can isolate it by taking your pointer finger out of the equation and just practicing the scales with the middle and ring finger, and then that way you increase coordination with your middle and ring finger. And you can also put them all together and use all three fingers when you play the scales. So I'm going to show you one of the shortest Segovia scale patterns. Let's say we start on C. We switch position once. And you do that little reach right there. Yeah, so you could see that practicing the Segovia scales is really good for learning how to shift positions. There's a lot of classical music pieces that require you to shift your position, and it can be hard to do it correctly, especially if like the piece is kind of fast or it's just a weird fingering. So I'd say these scales are definitely good for helping you practice that. It's also good for helping you practice your left hand form. You need to, if you're playing classical guitar, there's kind of a more strict hand position for the fretting hand. If you're doing like blues guitar or rock or whatever, you could play kind of a more, you can do kind of a more free or less rigid fretting hand position, like let's say with the thumb over the neck. Like you could do that to play bass notes with the low E string and then like skip another string and then play a chord. I always like that. This is a very comfortable way of playing. It just won't work very well if you're doing classical music, or depending on the size of your hands, it won't work very well on a classical guitar neck, because classical guitars have a very wide neck as compared to most electrics. Alright, so when you do these, just make sure, pretend like you're doing a little shadow puppet, and then you take the hand, put it there. With your thumb, I found that if you put entirely the fleshy pad of the thumb on the neck, then it makes for a little bit more friction, and it makes you drag. It makes you drag a little bit more. But if you put like the entire, only just like the bony part of the thumb, that makes for less friction. But it's just like, I don't know, it feels a little bit weird. So that's why I say you kind of have to adjust to preference, but try and get a little bit of the bony part and then some of the more fleshy part of the thumb to touch the neck. And I found that that gives you the best stability and best control without it being like very uncomfortable. It's kind of like having partly the bone make contact and partly the flesh make contact. It reminds me of how for classical guitar, you want your nails to be long enough so that your nail will make contact with the string, but that it's not only the nail. You want partly the nail to make contact and then partly the pad of the finger, and that's how you get the ideal tone, and it would just help your playing if you get the shape and length of the nails correct. Alright, and I'm about to show you a longer Segovia scale position. This position only works in the key of E because you start with the open E string. Another shift. And then going back down, it's a little different. The descending scale is a different pattern. Yeah, that's one of the major scale shapes. Also, another thing about these scales that they can help you with, they can help with your soloing, because you can learn the different positions and different shapes of scales. Because when there's a root note, depending on what string the root note is on, there is a different shape, a different scale shape, depending on what root note the scale starts on. This is the root note of E starting on the A string. So it has this different shape here. And the reason why I say you can use this for soloing is because it's good to know where you are on the neck, and you can know where you are on the neck by memorizing each of the different scale shapes of the diatonic scale. And the cool thing is that you can combine this with the pentatonic scale. For example, let's say we're in the key of B, because I just hit B. You can see how it connects with the pentatonic scale, because like I said, each diatonic scale shape has its corresponding pentatonic scale. So or we can take out the notes that are and make it just pentatonic. Take out those 2 extra notes. Keep the 5. And it works for that's for the majors, and it works for the minors too. There's actually a whole other minor Segovia scale. There's a whole set of minor Segovia scales. In the melodic minor, they're all melodic minor. So, for example, there's this one that is short. This is like the shortest one, and for this one, you start with the first finger. First finger. Oh, sorry. And then it's gonna become melodic minor, and we shift up, and then keep going across the strings. Shit, let me see. Okay, so we're here. And keep going. And then with the melodic melodic minor. On the descending, it's going to be the regular minor. So it's not going to be a sharp 7. It's just going to be the regular 7. And then if you want to incorporate the low string into it, you can go down and do the melodic minor ascending like this. So that was not melodic minor, but then when we ascend, we're gonna do the melodic minor, sharp 6, sharp 7. So look at me playing when I play these first couple notes of the scale. 1, 2, 3. This is part of the, this note is obviously in the diatonic scale. But if we take this out, we could play the pentatonic. This. Now it's shifting into a different pentatonic scale. So do you see how you can kind of figure out which shapes correspond to which, and then you can switch between pentatonic scale and then the diatonic scale? And I'll show you another Segovia scale shape for the minor scale, and it's like the longest because you can start it down here and you can only do it for 2 keys because the guitar just doesn't have enough notes. You can do it for B flat and B. Like I'll start all the way down here at B flat and end up at B flat all the way over here. So it's a long scale, minor scale. Wait, I'll get it. Fuck. Goddamn. Damn, I'm having trouble remembering this, but I know I can get it. Damn, well, in the meantime, let me show you a different minor scale. This starts on E minor. That one was not quite right, I gotta say. The fingering, I'm close to getting it. And well, that's what I get for trying to do an impromptu video. Shit. Well, I got another one for you. So there's this is another minor scale, and it's also a longer one. Let's say we start on F. And I don't know if y'all can see this very well. Shit. Well, there it is. Oh, forgot the shift right here. Let me try that again. Forgot to shift again. Gotta get it right. Oh, there it is. But yeah, I recommend you practice the Segovia scales. I hope that was clear. Like, if not, then you could let me know, and maybe I'll make a new video or do a short or write in the comments. I'll figure out some way to help make that more clear. Because if you're learning classical guitar, or even just guitar in general, because I can do this on like an electric. I can play these scales on electric guitar with a pick too, but it was made for the classical, and it's good for both right and left hand. Because it's really good to be able to just be comfortable going up and down the neck. And this will help with that. All right. I'll see you next time. Bye.